She never wanted the crown, she never asked for it, but at just 16 years old, Lady Jane Grey became Queen of England and was dead within a year. This is not just a tale of a girl who reigned for 9 days. It's the story of a brilliant young woman trapped in a game of thrones far beyond her control, and it all began long before her coronation. Lady Jane Grey was born in October 1537, into privilege and pressure. Her father, Henry Grey, the Duke of Suffolk, was a nobleman ambitious for status. Her mother, Lady Frances Brandon, was the niece of King Henry VIII, making Jane a great-granddaughter of the first Tudor king, Henry VII. This royal blood put her dangerously close to the throne. From an early age, Jane was not raised as a girl, but as a future political weapon. She was intelligent, sharp, and scholarly, fluent in Latin, Greek, and Hebrew by the age of 12. Her tutor, John Aylmer, praised her brilliance. Unlike many girls of her era, Jane was raised on books, not balls. But behind the education was a cold ambition, not hers, but her parents'. Jane herself described her home life as abusive. She once told a visitor that being with her tutor was the only time she felt peace. Her parents, she said, treated her with cruelty and harshness, demanding obedience and ambition. Jane came of age during the reign of King Edward VI, Henry VIII's only son, a devout Protestant, and still just a boy when he took the throne. Edward's fragile health was an open secret. By 1553 he was dying, and the question of who would inherit the throne tore the kingdom apart. Henry VIII's will had named his daughters, Mary and Elizabeth, as heirs after Edward, but Mary was Catholic, and Edward feared she would undo all his Protestant reforms. Enter John Dudley, the Duke of Northumberland, the most powerful man in Edward's government and a political mastermind. Dudley had a bold plan: bypass Mary and Elizabeth entirely. Instead, install a Protestant queen who could keep his grip on power. That queen would be Jane. In 1553, just months before Edward's death, Jane was married to Guildford Dudley, John Dudley's youngest son. Jane didn't love him. She had no real choice. Her family pushed her into the marriage and soon after into the spotlight. On July 6, 1553, Edward VI died, but it wasn't announced immediately. Dudley kept the death a secret while he maneuvered Jane into position. On July 10th, Lady Jane Grey was declared Queen of England. She wept. She collapsed. According to her own account, she was horrified, begging not to accept the crown, but her parents and her father-in-law insisted. She was a pawn. Jane ruled from the Tower of London. But outside the walls, Mary Tudor was rallying support. And England was not ready to forget the daughter of Catherine of Aragon. Mary moved fast. The public backed her. Even Jane's council began to switch sides. After just 9 days on the throne, Jane's reign crumbled. Mary was declared queen. Jane and her husband were imprisoned, but Mary at first showed mercy. She didn't want Jane dead. She believed Jane had been manipulated. But mercy has limits. In 1554, Jane's father joined Wyatt's rebellion, a failed Protestant uprising against Queen Mary. Mary had warned Jane, "If your family continues to oppose me, your life will be forfeit." And so on February 12, 1554, Lady Jane Grey, aged just 16 or 17, was executed at the Tower of London. Her husband Guilford was executed first. Jane was forced to watch the cart carrying his body pass beneath her window. Then it was her turn. She gave a final speech of faith and forgiveness, blindfolded herself, and struggled to find the execution block. "What shall I do? Where is it?" she asked in panic. A bystander guided her hand. Seconds later, the axe fell. Lady Jane Grey was never crowned. Her name was erased from official records, but her story refused to die. She became a Protestant martyr, a tragic heroine, a cautionary tale about politics, power, and patriarchal ambition. Her intellect, her grace, and her poise in the face of death became legendary. She is remembered not for what she did as queen, but for what was done to her. The 9-Day Queen is proof that even the brightest minds can be lost to the dark games of power. Lady Jane Grey's story is not just history, it's a warning, a reminder of what happens when politics forgets humanity. How many more brilliant women were silenced by ambition? How many stories still lie buried beneath thrones and crowns? Subscribe for more untold history, and let's bring these forgotten voices back into the light.